Sathya Sai Speaks, Volume 13, Chapter 27. Jesus. Man is a seed. The seed sprouts, becomes a sapling, grows into a tree, and fulfills its destiny, offering flowers and fruits to the world. So too, man rises from childhood, through adolescence, into youth and middle age, and when fully grown up, he has to justify himself by offering to the world the flowers and fruits of good thoughts and deeds, himself acquiring the fullness of wisdom. A bird has need of 2 wings. A cart must have 2 wheels. Without these, they are mortally handicapped. Man too must have 2 types of knowledge, to live on and to live for. The one helps him to eke out his livelihood, and the other rewards him for having lived at all. The one is called Jivana Upadhi, the means of living, and the other Jivana Paramavadi, the goal of living. The one enables us to garner the material riches which makes our lives comfortable and safe. The other answers the questions that haunt us and pressurize us while we live. Where have we come from? To where are we proceeding? How did the universe originate? Etc. No religion concerns itself with the first type of knowledge. They are all interested in stressing the second type. Each of you have to pay attention to this type even more than to the first. For the second type has beneficial impact on the first also. Dharma provides peace, contentment, and joy. Man has set down in all lands and communities certain rules and regulations in order to secure orderly and smooth running of his daily schedule of activities, directed to the actual process of living. Since they have become part of the code of conduct, they are also described as discipline. They are also subsumed under the basic principles of Dharma, righteousness. Dharma promotes peace and happiness, contentment and joy. In every community, there have appeared off and on great personalities who shaped and burnished the codes and adapted the detail to the needs of the times. What we must strive for today is not a new religion or a new society or a new code of morality. They are there already in each race and country. We also have the basic plans for spiritual training already laid down in most religions. But we need persons who have attained purity in all levels of consciousness. Man can reach perfect bliss only when his heart becomes free from envy, egoism, greed, and other evil traits. We need people who can recognize and truly appreciate the kinship and unity between all human beings and societies. They have to move beyond the bounds of the limited I to break loose from the entanglements of the senses. They have to jump over the battlement of the fort called body and enter enthusiastically the wide world beyond. Turn inwards to acquire awareness of the divine. From the narrow vision of individual need, man must voyage out into the broad vision of the universal. When a drop of water falls into the ocean, it loses its narrow individualities, its name and form, and assumes the form, name and taste of the ocean itself. If it seeks to live separately as a drop, it will soon evaporate and be reduced to non-existence. Each one must become aware that he is part of the one truth that encompasses everything in the universe. It is wrong to remain trapped in the narrow paths of selfishness, envy, and greed. Make the heart big and the mind pure. Only then can peace and prosperity be established on the earth. This day is a holy day, the day on which Jesus was born. He announced himself as the messenger of God. In fact, all humans are born as messengers of God. The sole purpose of this human career is to propagate the omnipresence of God, His might and glory. No one has incarnated for merely consuming quantities of food and catering to one's senses. Human life is much more precious than that. That is why the capacity to appreciate beauty, truth, and goodness has been endowed only on man. To acquire awareness of the divine, one need not journey to any special region or place. It is enough if the eye is turned inwards. In the Bhagavad Gita, the inner reality, the Atman, is described as resplendent like a billion suns. But man has not become aware of the light and power within. He still flounders in the darkness of ignorance. The scriptures proclaim that man is Amritasya Putra, the child of immortality. But man is unaware of this glorious heritage. He feels he is mortal, his end is imminent, and his existence is temporary. Man reduces himself to the level of the beasts. The scriptures also say that the Atman, the real core of the individual, is Ananda Swarupa, the very embodiment of bliss. But man, being blind to this truth, invites sorrow and anxiety to hold mastery over him. He discards the joy that awaits him. Every man is a messenger to fellow men, entrusted with the task of spreading knowledge of the joy that is being missed. If he misuses this mission and fritters away his years in gratifying the senses, he only reduces himself to the level of the beasts and loses the chance. He who announced himself as the messenger of God developed through the blossoming of divinity and the expansion of compassion and service in him to a stage where he declared himself as the Son of God. And then finally, he rose to the status of I and my Father are one. When Jesus declares that he is the Son of God, he becomes entitled to the paternal majesty and power. He can claim this only after embodying the same qualities his Father has. As a result, he attains Sayujya, mergence, which leads him to assert, I and my Father are one. The scriptures say, Brahmavet Brahmai Bhavati. He who knows Brahman becomes Brahman. Jesus inspired all mankind through his example. These three stages are referred to as Dvaita, Vishishta Advaita, and Advaita in Vedic thought. Messenger and master, the two are basically separate, and so this stage is one of Dvaita, dualism. The Son and Father, though two separate entities, they are bound by affection and kindred feelings and attitudes. They are like the whole and the part, the body and the limb. This stage is called Vishishta Advaita, qualified non-dualism. And when the Father and the Son are one, the stage is Advaita, non-dualism. Even a child would be eager to pass from one class to the next higher one. he would hate being in the same class, vegetating for years. Then, what can we say of persons with intelligence and discrimination, satisfied with the attainments of the lower steps? Jesus passed through the entire process and inspired all mankind by his example and teachings to be more generous and kind, detached and discriminating, and to bring light and love to all. He attracted people by his miracles and transformed them into apostles and exemplary servants of man. You must realize that the divine current that flows and functions in every living being is the one universal entity. When you desire to enter the mansion of God, you are confronted by two closed doors, the desire to praise yourself and the desire to defame others. The doors are bolted by envy, and there is also the huge lock of egoism preventing entry. So if you are earnest, you have to resort to the key of prema, love, and open the lock, then remove the bolt and throw the doors wide open. Education must train you in this difficult operation. Give up the two evils of self-praise and scandal. You undergo training in various subjects of study, but the highest form of knowledge is Adhyatmik Vidya, spiritual wisdom. People desirous of bathing in sacred rivers are advised by Tyagaraja, the famous mystic, poet and singer, to bathe in the ocean, for all rivers pour their waters into it. Therefore, a bath in the ocean means bathing in the waters of all the rivers at the same time. If Atma Vidya is mastered, you will have the key to all knowledge. It teaches us Tat, which, if known, all else is known. It reveals to us that the one is the many and that the many are really one. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. All this is enveloped by God, as the Shruti, sacred text, declares. Sadhana is the name for the mental discipline and intellectual effort to realize this unity. Jesus sacrificed his life and poured out his blood to instill love and compassion in the heart of man, so that man may be happy when others are happy and sad when others are sad. It is not by festivity and fun that you should celebrate Christmas. Celebrate it rather by resolving and putting into practice at least one of the ideals he enunciated, or endeavoring to reach at least one of the goals that Jesus placed before man. Let me call upon you to give up, in memory of this holy day, two evils from your mind: self-praise and talking scandal. Adopt one good habit, the habit of loving service to the distressed. If you spend all your time and energy in worldly comfort and sensual delight, you are disgracing this human existence. Life is not to be spent in just eating. Eating is only a necessity for living. You may think of your body as a mere dwelling, but it is actually the temple of God, where God resides. Keep it fresh, clean, and fragrant through developing compassion and love. Use the temple of God only for holy thoughts, words, and deeds. Do not demean it by using it for low, trivial, and unholy tasks. Wherever you are, whatever you do, have this resolution steady and strong. Vrindavan, December 25th, 1976. Seeing one's own reality is the opening of the doors of liberation. For this, the mirror of the heart has to be prepared by coating the back of the heart with Satya and Dharma. Otherwise, the image will not appear. In every act of yours, if you observe truth and justice, then you can see your own reality revealed. You may say that the burdens of past acts and their inevitable consequences have to be borne. But the grace of God can burn that burden in a flash. The revelation of reality will, in a flash, save you from that burden. Sri Sathya Sai Baba.